Hey, all you cool cats and kittens out there in distance learning land. This is Coach Gardner coming at you again with some more history review. Today, here's what we're going to do. This is our U.S. history notable people. We're going to do the first 10 of these. We did these in class, but this is after all review. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to go over them briefly again. All right. And I need to announce that there will be no assignments to turn in this week. No assignments to turn in this week. Since this is supposed to be our spring break week, we're going to observe that, and we're not going to have anything that we need to turn in today. So our first person we're going to review is John Locke. John Locke is an English Enlightenment philosopher. He's going to be instrumental in some of the ideas of people like Thomas Paine and Thomas Jefferson. Of course, Paine, as you all know, is going to be the author of Common Sense. He's an English immigrant. But what Locke comes up with is the idea of social contract theory, which is an agreement between the people and those governing the people, that the people will give the government power and allow it to govern as long as it governs justly and fairly. Also, it has the idea of life, liberty, and property. Now, this is going to be very similar to what Jefferson is going to include in the Declaration of Independence. The property thing is the one thing that really changes the deal. All right. This is going to make a lot of the monarchs in Europe uncomfortable because for the first time ever, the relationship between the people being governed and those doing the governing is re-examined. It's going to be looked at in a new way. Next is our buddy Thomas Paine. He of course writes the pamphlet Common Sense. He's an English immigrant, comes to America. His ideas are going to be one of those that's going to help fan the flames of revolution. It's basically Common Sense is just a list of grievances against the king. We're going to see that again in Thomas Jefferson's writing, the Declaration of Independence, and both of these documents just list the problems that the colonists are having with the king. Problems that could probably easily be reconciled if the king cared enough to actually do that, but he didn't. Patrick Henry, he has very famous quote, says, "Give me liberty or give me death." And it states the idea of a lot of the people in the colonies that if they can't live free without the tyranny of control of England, they'd rather die. So it's a pretty simple concept, but of course, Patrick Henry is very famous for that. George Washington. George Washington, good old Virginia boy. Of course, he is the father of our country, first president. But before all that, he was the general of the Continental Army. And what he did in that role was to preserve the new Continental Army to be able to fight over the long haul against the more experienced, better equipped, better trained British military. And he held our army together in times of need so that we could continue the fight through to the end. He is going to win the Revolutionary War. He's going to be the chairman at the Constitutional Convention. He's there not as an actual active participant the majority of the time, but he's there to lend his credibility to the proceedings, to show everybody that it is an important meeting. And first president of the United States. Chief Justice John Marshall. He's going to be famous in the court case Marbury versus Madison. He's actually going to establish the role of the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court, the legislative, and the executive are all in the Constitution, but the roles are not clearly defined. Marshall is one of those people who helps define the role of the Supreme Court by his decision in the Marbury versus Madison case, and it establishes the idea of judicial review. Next, we have John Adams. Adams is one of those revolutionary fathers who's going to help fan the flames of revolution. A lot of these people are going to be well known names that are sacrificing a lot of their own time, their own responsibility, their own ideas to help drive this revolution forward. Now, a lot of these people could have stood in the background and waited for all this to happen and then come out the other side with little to no risk to them. But people like Adams actually got out there in the middle of it and were participants. Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton is another one of those people. He's going to be involved in the Federalist issue when we talk about the constitutional ratification. Lewis and Clark. Now, Lewis and Clark are going to be two people who Thomas Jefferson are going to send to explore the Louisiana Territory after his purchase from France in 1803. Jefferson pretty much bought a pig in a poke. Didn't know what was out there. So he sends Lewis and Clark out there to map out the newly acquired territory to find out what's out there, so he can get a better idea of what he can do with that land. Sacagawea, she is the Indian guide who guides Lewis and Clark during this expedition. Supposedly saved them from dying on several occasions when they were maybe attacked by hostile natives, when they were getting ready to eat things that could have poisoned them. Just kept them out of harm's way so that they could finish their project for President Jefferson. And of course, we're going to finish up here with our old buddy TJ, Thomas Jefferson, another good old Virginia boy. Jefferson is going to be key in the revolutionary process. Of course, he writes the Declaration of Independence. Like we said earlier, another list of grievances against the King of England. He's also going to be instrumental in the creation of the Virginia Declaration of Rights. And he is going to be an anti-federalist. Excuse me. He comes down on the side of the common man, the small farmer, with more power in the hands of local and state governments than in the federal government. Jefferson is also going to be the creator of the University of Virginia, which is one of the things that that he wanted to be most known for. And when he passes away, that's actually one of the things that they put on his tombstone. So that is a brief recap of those first 10 people that we discussed. And like I said, there will be no assignments this week. So next week, I will not post a video probably till Wednesday. And we'll see if we have an assignment coming in off of that video. But in the meantime, stay home, stay safe, and take care of yourself and your family. And remember, it's all about the you.